We have a lot coming up for you on News 6 at 5. Anchor Matt Austin is in studio with what's ahead. Matt.
Ladies, we are tracking that big storm in the tropics. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells will be back to pinpoint Hurricane Eta for us. Plus, we're in the final hours of voting on Election Day, where the candidates will be tonight as those results come down. That is all next. And one local county seeing record number when it comes to voter turnout. I mean, huge. Why this area could play a big role for the candidate who wins the state.
Live with clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5, getting results.
Now at 5, the countdown is on in the race to the White House. And News 6 has team coverage across all of Central Florida in Results 2020. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. You now have just 2 hours to get your vote in and decide who will be your next president. Seminole County will especially play a big role when it comes to the I-4 corridor and which candidate takes the state.
Tonight, the area is seeing a record number when it comes to voter turnout, too. News 6's Eric Von Anken joins us live from the Seminole County Supervisor of Elections office. So, Eric, what are you learning out there?
Well, Matt, first let me tell you the record here in Seminole County is 78% for voter turnout. We're getting there. We're creeping up. Right now we're at 72%. So mail-in ballots and early voting, we knew those were setting records. The question is how many people would show up today at their polling precincts. Well, here are the numbers. Take a look. As of this hour, 33,500 people have cast ballots today, again, at their specific polling locations. In 2016, you can see that number is only 25,892. So already we're way up from 2016. I asked the election supervisor about it. He was surprised that, well, it's not higher. Here's what he said.
Eric, thank you.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are making their final push to rally their supporters. Earlier today, President Trump visited his campaign headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, to thank the staffers who helped run his re-election campaign. CBS News has confirmed his campaign has a war room set up to monitor the results, and the president will be at the White House with about 400 guests as the returns come in. Former Vice President Joe Biden spent the morning in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to visit his childhood home with his 2 granddaughters. Tonight, he will be at the Biden headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware for a socially distanced event. The campaign anticipates between 200 and 300 cars will fill the parking lot. Right now, it is unclear if a winner will be declared tonight. Some states could take days to count all the ballots.
Our team coverage continues in Orange County, where voters are showing up and deciding on some pretty big races. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden is standing by in Orange County, where turnout numbers are up like they are in a lot of places. Lewis?
That's right, Matt. Orange County Supervisor of Elections Bill Cowell says the numbers are up across the board. He says early voting numbers are up, mail-in voting numbers are up. In fact, they just released that in one precinct, precinct 538, they have had 102% voter turnout. Now, several voters updated their addresses, so that pushed the number over 100%. But the bottom line is people are turning out for this election. Here in Orange County, we have some really big races that we're following.
Good to see so many people stepping up to be poll workers during a pandemic. Lewis Bolden, thank you.
Moving on to Osceola County, as people wait to cast their vote at the polls. One of the biggest races in the county will be the next Osceola County Sheriff. News 6's Mike DeForest joins us now live from the Supervisor of Elections office with more on that. Mike?
Hey, Lisa. Well, the Osceola County Canvassing Board's been meeting for about 2 hours now. They're inside that glassed-in room. The board is currently examining mail-in ballots that came in since yesterday and then running them through the counting machines. Now, shortly after the polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, if all goes well, we should have the election results for all early voting here in Osceola County, most of the mail-in ballots, and eventually all of the precincts from today's in-person voting. Osceola County's election supervisor says the story of this election is that surge in vote by mail.
All right, Mike DeForest reporting live for us. Thank you.
Our coverage of Results 2020 will continue throughout the night as our team takes a closer look at the big races and the potential shakeups that could happen right here in Central Florida.
News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth is part of our team coverage tonight. And Justin, there are several major storylines that we will be following closely throughout the night.
Yeah, and none bigger than the race for president, Lisa. When we know the importance of Florida for the candidates and the role the I-4 corridor plays in deciding elections as the results come in. Should be fun. Lisa.
It's always fascinating to watch those numbers come in. Justin, thank you.
That will tell the story. Well, Americans aren't the only ones keeping a close eye on Election Day.
The entire world is watching tonight. Coming up, why people overseas are concerned about who will lead the United States for the next 4 years.
First, though, a local school district reporting an increase in COVID-19 cases. We spoke to a local pediatrician about the rise in new infections. That is next. You're watching News 6 at 5, Getting Results. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Launch Credit Union.
With so much information out there, you don't know where to turn, what's right or wrong, who to trust, and we get it.
But don't worry, on News 6 starting at 5, we'll help you navigate what's fact and what's fiction.
From the latest breaking news
to a team of investigators exposing corruption and fighting to protect you and your family.
and an in-depth look at how law enforcement is working with our communities.
We will stop at nothing to make sure you have the truth.
News 6 starting at 5, Getting Results.
I'm News 6 meteorologist Candace Campos. The start of November was nice and cool, but I have to admit it was certainly a hot October. So much so, we broke some records. Look at you guys in Orlando ranking as the hottest October on record. Both Orlando and Daytona Beach ran about 4.5 degrees above normal when you factor in highs and lows. Stanford, you also came in with the second hottest October, 5th hottest October in Melbourne. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells will be pinpointing tonight's overnight lows coming up in just a few minutes.
Live with Matt Austin, Lisa Bell. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells, Meteorologist Candace Campos. Special reports from the investigators and Getting Results together with Eric Von Enken. This is News 6 at 5, Getting Results.
Now to the coronavirus impact on the state of Florida. As we see cooler temperatures this week, officials are concerned about what the colder weather could mean for the pandemic as more people spend more time indoors.
But today the state is reporting 4,600 new cases. That number is slightly lower than yesterday, but the number of recent deaths is up at 56. The state also reported a higher positivity rate, got above 7%. The last time Florida reported a positivity rate this high was in August.
And developing at 5, a local school district is setting a new record for COVID-19 cases.
Orange County reported 40 new cases yesterday alone across more than 30 schools. News 6's Crystal Moyer has the story. We're also staying on top of this developing story. Police are investigating a shooting that hurt 2 people. It happened just after 11 a.m. on Peachtree Street in Cocoa. Both victims were airlifted to the hospital. They are expected to be okay. Now, detectives are working to figure out who the potential suspects are. If you have any details on this case, call Crime Line.
Tracking the tropics, Hurricane Eta began moving ashore in Nicaragua earlier today with devastating wind and rain. Video shows destroyed rooftops and rivers overflowing. Thousands of people are in shelters as the storm moves through. Emergency crews have small planes loaded with food to help people affected by the storm. Authorities are also keeping an eye on the overflowing rivers and areas prone to landslides.
Just hate to see it. It's been so beautiful around here, but it's easy to forget about it with everything going on today. Really a gorgeous banner day for us here, Tom Sorrells.
Yeah, man. So for an election day, some of the best weather we've ever had.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I mean, I've had election days where I had to stand here and go, hey, there's a tornado warning.
Don't need that.
Don't be distracted.
That would be 2020.
Yes.
Wouldn't that have been so typical?
Yeah, it
It's
would
been a crazy weather day, but it wasn't. The weather today has been fantastic, not only for us, but for a large part of the country. Tonight will be cool, will be breezy. Tomorrow, getting a little bit warmer, like 79. Some of you might hit 80. Definitely not hot, but a little bit warmer. Come the weekend, scattered showers will return, and maybe, well, I'll show you in a minute about maybe. Grill and chill forecast for this night, all good. The sun will set at 5:38. It will be a nice evening. It's breezy. 7 o'clock, 68. By 8 p.m., 67. 9 p.m., 66. Cooling on down later, but not super cold tonight. not even. Look, a large part of the country is doing well. It's 74 degrees way up in Minneapolis, 75 in Kansas City, 67 in Memphis, and look, even in Denver. Well, they've already had snow this season. It's 79 degrees. That's really, really nice, great election day weather. Doesn't happen much. Downtown Orlando right now, we're still strong at 73 degrees. Wind from the east-northeast at 16. Look at this beautiful shot. Launch Credit Union camera down at the port. Seagulls are flying around. It's all good. 74 degrees and beautiful. Low tonight 61. Here is tomorrow.
Your forecast brought to you by Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
And the daytime high tomorrow is 79. Check out the week ahead. High tomorrow goes to 79. No real shot of rain. Thursday 82. Rain chances do come back to us, but not until Friday. Saturday and Sunday also packing a shot at rain. And all of that is really dependent on what happens with Ada.
All right, Tom, thank you. Remember, News 6 is your source for complete coverage tonight. After the polls close, head to clickorlando.com at 8 p.m. for our webcast. We'll be live on the air here on News 6 from 7 until 8. And on our webcast, we will break down the latest developments and results for you. Then at 9 o'clock, I will host a panel of experts who will take a look at the factors voters may be considering when casting their ballots this year, what role the courts could play in the election outcome, and how this election outcome impacts the Central Florida community. And all night long, you can choose your view and pick between 15 different live streams displaying national news, real-time race results, and live reports from local Central Florida counties. Again, you can find all of this in-depth coverage on clickorlando.com. I love it. We have such a large geographical area to cover here in Central Florida, so that's a way for you to zero in on
exactly
your community.
What you're interested in. Yep.
All right, today is not just a big day for Americans, but it also impacts the entire world.
Yeah, where people from different countries stand on the candidates and who they want to see in the White House. That is next.
Brought to you by Ace Hardware, your grillin' and chillin' experts. Breaking news where you are instantly. Turn on push notifications in the News 6 app and always stay safe and informed. Stay in the know with your favorite radio stations. News 6 has partnered with 103.1 The Wolf and Florida Man Radio. Find out what's going on in your neighborhood 6 times a day. News 6 updates on 103.1 The Wolf and Florida Man Radio. Here's tonight's lineup on News 6, sponsored by Powerball.
At 8, CBS News 2020 Election Night, America Decides, followed by News 6 at 11.
Your Tuesday evening traffic alert. This lane closure caused some issues for us yesterday morning. It's going to be westbound I-4 right around Lake Mary Boulevard. Your right lane's going to be closed there, along with your on-ramp from Lake Mary Boulevard to westbound I-4. So plan ahead and keep that in mind, and then you'll be clear until you approach E.E. Williamson, and then that lane closure will last until just west of 434 along I-4. Pick back up again at 436 and last till about Maitland Boulevard. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, please, and I'll catch you in the morning.
All right, well, on this election day, the world is watching as Americans vote. Even people overseas feel like they have a horse in this race, since presidents can really change the course of history.
People around the globe are growing anxious for the United States election results, as the winner will shape future relations with other countries. So President Trump enjoys a sky-high approval rating in Israel, with supporters hoping he gets 4 more years. In Nigeria, hundreds are marching in support of him. In Russia, many fear a Joe Biden presidency, saying he's too aggressive in his policies toward their country. In the UK, most believe Biden should be America's next president.
I think Biden will be the best for the UK economy to support us. I don't think Trump particularly cares about us all that much.
In France and Germany, President Trump also remains deeply unpopular. Whoever wins, the result will impact not just the United States, but they will be the leader of the free world. Well, it is a big week here in Central Florida. Tomorrow, United Launch Alliance is set to launch a secret spy satellite that supports the U.S. Department of Defense on a rocket from Cape Canaveral.
The mission was initially set for this evening about an hour before polls closed. But yesterday, after rolling out the rocket to the launch pad, ULA had to troubleshoot a technical issue. Liftoff is now set for 5:54 tomorrow evening. ULA says both the rocket and satellite, they're healthy, good to go. This will be the first launch for ULA since back in July. If liftoff happens, you can watch it live right here on News 6 and at clickorlando.com.
Yeah, because we didn't have enough to do today.
Correct.
We were fine with
Yes.
the delay, that's for sure. Ginger Gadsden joins us now with what's next at 5:30.
Matt and Lisa coming up at 5:30. It is one of the most closely watched races in Central Florida. What's on the line for the candidates running for Brevard County's top cop? Plus, an historic effort to give returning citizens a chance to make their voices heard. How one group, with the help of thousands, made it happen. And one local county is on track to shatter a record when it comes to voter turnout. What election officials are saying about the surge. We're getting results on News 6. Keep it here. We will be right back.
Team coverage all day long. Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com for the latest results as they come in. This is News 6 at 5:30, getting results.
Now at 5:30, this election is shattering records all across Central Florida. And right now, one county is on track to see its highest turnout yet. What this could mean for the results.
First, though, they did their time, but for tens of thousands of Floridians, this election will be the first time voting for a president since they were convicted. They are felons who had their rights restored, all thanks to a 2018 ballot measure known as Amendment 4. Glad you're with us on this election day. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. Just months ago, a judge ruled felons must have all their fines and fees paid off before they could cast their ballots. Since then, donations have been pouring in from around the country to give them the chance to make their voices heard. Now, the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, along with the support from celebrities and generous donors, paid off fines and fees for more than 40,000 returning citizens statewide by raising $27 million. The group says more than 90,000 donors chipped in to make it all happen. News 6's Jerry Askin starts off our team coverage in Orlando tonight. And Jerry, this has really been an historic effort.
Ginger, really a big day and a historic day for so many returning citizens after a long time coming. Many of them, as you mentioned, are voting for the first time ever. Now, right now, we're at a hotel off of I Drive where the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, they're hosting a free to vote watch party here tonight. You can see the tables here are being set up right now.
All right, Clay Lepard, thank you. Remember, News 6 is the place to be for all your election results and analysis tonight. It starts with an hour-long edition of News 6 at 7. We have all had our extra cup of coffee and about 6 chocolate chip cookies. We're ready to go. We're going to have local live team coverage streaming throughout the night at clickorlando.com. The best place to be on election night is in a newsroom.
Yeah, just keep it right there.
Tomorrow, families in Orange County struggling to make ends meet will have another chance to apply for financial help. The county is reopening its CARES Act portal at 8 a.m. Officials say it will remain open for 15,000 users to apply for that $1,000 grant. So people who apply don't have to be unemployed, but they do have to show they've been negatively impacted by the pandemic in some way. Previous application periods have ended in an hour or less. So heads up, if you are applying for this, you've got to be prepared and you've got to start really early to even have a shot at it.
Don't just start signing on when it opens.
No,
Already be ready to push the button, yeah.
Still a lot to cover in Results 2020.
Up next, our political expert will join us. The state and local races he will be watching tonight and the factors that could determine who wins the race for the White House. Tom.
The weather has been fantastic for this election day. That's going to change, but tonight's beautiful. Radar is just about as dry as it can be. I'll be back to pinpoint when rain does return to my radar. What's going on in the tropics? Do you really need to worry about that? And then we'll check out the next 7 days.
You're watching News 6 at 5:30, getting results. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Advent Health. Taking care of yourself has never been more important. Visit humansareincredible.com. Team coverage all day long. Stay with News 6 and clickorlando.com for the latest results as they come in. Live with Matt Austin, Ginger Gadsden, weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells. This is News 6 at 5:30, getting results.
As these long, never-ending campaigns come to an end on this election night, the race for the White House remains tight. tight.
Yeah, and it's certainly been an election season for the record books. More than 100 million Americans have already made their voices heard, but it's unclear if we'll know the winner tonight, as some states could take days to count all those ballots. So joining us now to give us his insight and analysis on the races and results 2020 is UCF historian and News 6 political expert Dr. Jim Clark. Jim, thank you for joining us yet again.
Jim Clark, an encyclopedia with hair. Thank you so much, my friend. Look forward to talking to you a lot this evening.
Oh, Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so if you need something else to make you smile today, these kids will certainly do it. They may not be old enough to vote in this election or the next one. These preschool and kindergarten students are learning about the importance of civic involvement with their own race. The Primrose School of Avalon Park shared these pictures with us. The students voted between two candidates now. Mia the Mouse, whose platform is based on good citizenship, I like it, and Percy the Rooster, whose platform is based on courage. Mia squeaked out
the mouse.
win.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got to say, I was looking to see if my Sawyer was going to pop up in this, because that is where she goes to preschool.
Yeah, she was. I saw her election outfit yesterday.
She's going to be upset. She did not go for Mia the Mouse. She's home drinking, hitting a juice box real hard right now.
She's a big rooster lover.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, great. I have to deal with that when I get home. Gotcha. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrell is joining us now, and we do have some serious stuff out there, folks.
I do. Yeah, this is horrible. This is Eta. We've been talking about Eta for like days on end now. It's a giant, massive Category 4 hurricane making landfall right now in Nicaragua with wind speeds of about 140 miles per hour. Mountain ranges here in Central America are going to rip the heart out of this hurricane. It's not going to be a Cat 4 within the next few hours because it's going to be so disrupted. It's going to be torn all to pieces. It's still going to be a huge rainmaker for the folks down there, though. It's such a mountainous region that it kills the wind pretty quickly, but the water doesn't go away. Some of those spots down there can get 30, 35 inches of rain. It's all mountainous. There's going to be landslides and flooding, and what a mess. And then it will reemerge into the Caribbean. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the last advisory we have. It updates automatically. We'll kick in another one in the next couple of hours. Wind speeds of 140 miles per hour, gusting to 165, takes a track through Central America, comes back out right here on top of Belize by about Friday night into Saturday. Comes all the way through the Caribbean, but look at day 4 and day 5. Suddenly, parts of southern Florida are in the cone of projected movement for Saturday. Right there's Key West. So, what you have to look at is the model runs and try to figure out why that is. Well, look at it. Very tightly wound models, bringing it all the way here into Cuba over the course of the next 3 to 4 days. Day 4 and day 5 look like a squash bug. There will be lots of changes in this forecast. We'll keep you posted. That's where we stand right now. Here's where we stand right now in Orlando on the health camera. It's beautiful. 73 degrees. And look at that. Let me step out of the way. Oh, come on now. Little boat going up the channel.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Brevard County on the launch camera. Temperature reading at news time is 74. Here's the temperature where you live. 69 right now in Gainesville, 71 in Ocala, and 72 at the Cape. Your low tonight in the City Beautiful is 61. Here's tomorrow.
Your forecast is brought to you by Trial Pro.
Talking about a daytime high tomorrow of 79 degrees by the afternoon. Check out the week ahead. 79 will do it for the daytime high tomorrow. No shot at rain. And even on Thursday, breezy 82. But rain chances do come back on Friday at about 30%. And all that forecast for rain on Saturday and Sunday, well, that's dependent on whether or not we have tropical trouble headed towards Florida.
All right. I can't even think about that right now, Tom Sorrell. Thank you, though, for the update. We appreciate it. The arts are getting results in schools.
How an old tradition is helping young students find a creative outlet amid the pandemic.
They investigate for truth, for safety, for you. The News 6 investigators. Only on News 6 starting at 5.
Look, we have more experience than any other team in Central Florida. That means more experience with hurricanes, more experience with tornadoes, more experience with severe weather. Each member of the Pinpoint team brings their own perspective from their experience. Whether it's Troy's experience chasing tornadoes or Hurricane Andrew ripping apart Candace's house, everyone brings something unique to help present a precise forecast. That's why we call it Pinpoint Weather. That's how we get results.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Lexus of Orlando and Lexus of Winter Park.
At 8, CBS News 2020 Election Night, America Decides, followed by News 6 at 11. Well, during this time of crisis, the arts can play an important role in helping young students express themselves and escape the uncertainty of the pandemic.
Yeah, one teacher in Marion County recognized that power, so she decided to bring back an old tradition. News 6 anchor Julie Broughton shows us the art cart is getting results in our schools.
Art class at East Marion Elementary School looks a little different these days. Somewhat of a throwback to teacher Ann Hamilton's early years teaching.
When I started teaching many years ago, I was pushing a cart from room to room. Schools were usually overcrowded. There was no room for an art room. And that's pretty much how we did it.
And now with the pandemic, art on a cart is back.
And it's like all of a sudden the smiles go on and they're like, yay, something, we're glad to see you. We get to do art. You know, it's just exciting for them. They've had so much stress. They need to kind of have a release, a way to let their mind go and be creative and think about something other than everything else that's going on around them. It gives them a break from all of that.
And students do so much more than create.
Most every lesson I do starts with art from a famous artist, either current or from the past. And they look at it, they talk, they compare two pictures together, what's the same, what's different. It teaches them how to see. When they can talk about art and think about things that don't have a definite answer or one answer or one way to solve a problem, they have to use their brain. They have to start thinking outside of the box. They have to think of new ways to do things. You know, in math class, 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. There's not going to be a different answer when you go there. But in art, there are zillions of ways to solve a problem that a teacher presents them.
The symbols, those metal round things.
Julie Broughton, Getting Results, News 6.
That is fantastic, and it breaks up the day for those kids.
Yes,
love it.
I love the art cart.
Yeah, me too. Lisa Bell is here. What we're working on for News 6 at 6.
Coming up at 6 tonight, our Results 2020 coverage continues in just minutes with the polls about to close in just an hour from now. We speak with a local leader predicting a record turnout for Latino voters. Coming up, a look at which direction Hispanic voters are expected to go today. And one local county is seeing a record number when it comes to voter turnout. Why this area will play a big role for the candidate who ultimately wins the state. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. Take a look at this gorgeous sunset on this election day night. We'll be right back.